we start? BGM is on. BGM is on. Hello everyone, welcome to Audio Stream. It has been a day. It has been a roller coaster of a day. I am dead. The Airi you know is gone. There remains an empty husk that has to get up in 6 hours from now. Yeah, I said it. Alright, let me tell you a tale. Let me tell you a tale of everything that happened today. 6 hours, I know. I know. But I wanted to be here. I wanted to... Why are you streaming them? Because I wanted to see you. Because I said I'd come today and here I am, I came. Yo. So, I'm here for you. Even though I'm tired. I know. I had 3 hours of sleep. And I've been awake since 8 AM. Oh. Hi. So I got up at 8 AM to get ready for my interview. It was a mess trying to get ready. I was so tired. I was so eepin'. But then I looked presentable and I was like, alright, time to be on my way. I'm on my way. And I stepped outside. And the moment I stepped out of the stairs that led out of my house, I rolled my ankle. And I was like, heck. Because I was wearing like loafers with heels and they were not that good for walking. And I was like, oh, that hurts. But obviously I had to keep going, so I just kept going, and then it hurt while I was sitting down in the train. And I was like, oh. And I was like, oh, this day is gonna be so cursed. But I spent my train ride using ChatGPT to prepare for the interview. I was like, hello ChatGPT, here is the person who's interviewing me. Tell me everything about them. Yeah, and then I made ChatGPT do a background check and I was like, so you work on these kind of projects, huh? Yeah. Actually, wow, that's crazy. Suddenly, I'm really interested in forced gender... Wait, no, I read that wrong. I'm really... Yeah, I'm interested in one of those things you do. Yeah, so... Yeah, love that. I did also have an Ask Me practice questions and I wrote down replies on my tablet so I can memorize them. Yeah, and so I was panicking a little bit a lot. But it was fine. I was like, okay, at this point, it's whatever. I can't do anything anymore. I just tried to cram as much information into my head as I could, and then I was like, alright, we roll. YOLO. And for the interview, actually, I'm probably being a bit too formal by calling it an interview as a Vorstellungsgespräch, a Kennenlerngespräch, like a, you know, like when bosses are like trying to be approachable, where they're like, yeah, you know, this is not an interview, we're just getting to know each other. So it's supposed to be a casual thing. I still came in my full business attire, looking like a business penguin, pegawing. So nervous for you, very. I thought I was gonna have a heart attack. I thought I was gonna pass out. Yeah, so it was like one of those like, oh, you know, this is not an interview, you're just getting to know me and I'm getting to know you kind of things. And they said it in the public bakery, which I thought was weird. But I guess it's like part of the like, oh, I'm not asking you to my office to interview you. We're just having coffee together and we're getting to know each other. It was very much an interview. But I digress. People, those kinds of people are weird. I don't know. So I arrived to the designated bakery spot half an hour early because I really didn't want to be late. And so I was just like, oh god, what do I do? What do I do? Can I just sit here and eat nothing? But then the bakery staff will think I'm weird. Do I buy something? But wait, then if the guy walks in and I'm eating something, he'll think I'm rude. That I didn't wait for him to arrive. And I spent like 15 minutes thinking about it, and then I bought a cup of cocoa. I sat back down, and you'd think that would be it, right? But no. I was like, oh, okay. Wait, what if he comes in right now and he sees my full cup of cocoa, and he thinks that I just came in and I immediately bought myself something without even thinking about like waiting for him. And so I started guzzling the cocoa in one go, so it looked like I'd been here for longer. Which I had been. I was like, what if he walks in right now? I had to wipe my face because I had cocoa all over my lips. And I was like, oh my god, what if... Oh no. I was suffering so bad. Yeah, so, and then I was like, okay, I shouldn't drink too much. I should not drink too much. And so I left the half-empty cocoa standing on my desk for the next 10 minutes while waiting for the guy. And I kept like craning my head because there was 2 doors to the bakery, so I was like, this way, that way, this way, that way. I look like a what's an Erdmännchen? What's an Erdmännchen? Erdmännchen. English. I look like a meerkat. I look like a meerkat trying to keep watch. I was like, this side, that side, this side, that side. And then the meeting time came and it went, and I was like, it's 11:31. Where is he? Did he decide to cancel? Did I come to the wrong place? Did I get the wrong time? Did I get the wrong day? So he arrived, the interviewer arrived at 11:35. Those were the longest 5 minutes of my life because I kept checking my phone for any messages. I kept checking my emails. I kept checking the date because I was like, oh, maybe I read the date wrong. Maybe I read the date wrong. I kept checking the location I was given over and over and over in a circle. The guy walked in, middle-aged guy, you know, typical guy. I don't know what to say about that. And I just got up from my chair and I was like, hello, and I extended my hand. I was like, nice to meet you. And he was like, oh yeah, should I get you something to drink or eat? And I was like, I already have. He was like, oh, you sure you don't want anything else? And I was like, no. I genuinely sounded offended because I was panicking. I was like, I already have something. Do I need more? No, I don't want more. I don't want to eat. So I was like, no. He was like, are you sure? No. So he eventually just got something for himself, and I sat back down and I watched him the entire time while he ordered. I was like, God, wait, no, I look creepy, no. Anyhow, he finally sat down across from me with the coffee. And then, and we started the interview proper. you know, despite it being like, oh, you know, this is not an interview, I'm just getting to know you and you're just not. It was an interview. He asked interview questions. Like, come on, why even pretend at that point? I would have been less nervous if we'd been in an office space rather than a bakery with 2 doors. Ito. And I was horrified. I was terrified. I was wearing like a little ring on my finger and I kept twirling it the entire time. But it was beneath the table, so I think you didn't see. Yeah. And, you know, he was like the general like, oh, please introduce yourself. And I was like, hallo. Ich bin die Airi und ich bin auch dabei. No, of course I gave my standard professional, probably relatively professional introduction. Yeah, and then he started like asking questions like, oh, why do you want to intern for me specifically? And I was thanking the lords for ChatGPT because I was like, oh yeah, because actually you were recommended to me by one of my classmates. However, I thought that I would have a very informative time. Peony Eddie. Who's that? Who's that? Yeah, and I was like, yeah, you know, because and I saw that you did the work you did on this particular project, and that actually aligns very well with my interests. So I believe that in an internship with you, I'd be able to explore this topic more, since you're so knowledgeable on it. Yeah. I don't remember most of the things I said. So this is your new channel. Yeah. Airi studied. My name is Airi. And yeah. I don't even remember. I do not even remember what was asked and what I said. Yeah, it's been 2 years, gee. Oh gosh, I'm trying to recall it now. I was so nervous. I wasn't even mentally present for half of it. I was just like focusing on smiling a normal amount. That was most of what was going on in my mind. I was like, oh, you're not smiling, smile. Oh, you're smiling a little too much. Stop smiling. Yeah. And then, you know, I get to talking about my work stuff, which obviously I can't go like, I'm a VTuber, so I'm like, yeah, you know, I did some stuff in social media marketing. It was very interested in that. And so I got to talk a lot more about that. And for people, specifically for older people who don't understand this kind of stuff, I guess what I said must have sounded impressive. Yeah. Yeah, and so, yeah, I started talking about my quote-unquote work, my quote-unquote social media work. Technically not lying in an interview, just omitting certain information. And he seemed very impressed, and he was like, wow, and you did all of that fresh out of high school? And I was like, yup, fresh out of high school. He was like, when did you graduate high school? And I was like, we're 17. He was like, wow, that's impressive. Yeah. And at that point, after I talked about that and after we discussed that, his demeanor changed because he started to like laugh, and he was like, oh gosh, so, you know, the thing is, I have to make something very clear, is that I can unfortunately not pay you. Like, I mean, you know, you could probably do better than this. And I was like, I mean, and he was like, yeah, I'd feel bad for not paying you. And I was like, well, you don't have to pay me, please. I just want the paper. I need it for uni. Obviously, I didn't say it that way. I was like, oh no, this is an internship. I didn't come here with that expectation. Yeah. And he was like, no, you know, I don't want to deter you, but like seriously, you know, obviously I take you, but please think about it. I have to tell you, like, you know, I have to tell you, please think about it. I don't want you to feel like you're being taken advantage of as an intern if you're doing all the stuff and I can't pay you for it. And I was like, well, no, it's fine. I don't have to think about it. Because I was getting PTSD flashbacks to the time I got denied a job for a professor because the professor said I'm too qualified and too analytical for the kind of work she's looking for. And I was like, great. And she was like, yeah, you'll get many more opportunities. And I was like, no, I will not. But okay. Yeah. And so you kept going like, oh, you know, think about it. Like, you know, I'm just telling you for you, like, think about it. And I was like, I don't need to think about it. Yeah. I was so scared. I was so scared of, like, you know, if everyone rejects you for being quote-unquote overqualified, you're not gonna have any more qualifications. Yeah, so, so I was like, please don't say that word. He was like, no, I'm very, very impressed with you. And I mean, if you think that this internship isn't too boring for you, which I think it might be, it will probably be too boring for you. And I was like, no, it won't be, please, it won't be. And he, well, in the end, we ended the interview. He said, I'd be very happy to take you. I want you to think about it overnight because I don't want you feeling bored in my internship. I don't know if I can provide you that much. I feel very bad for not being able to pay you, but I could pay your transport. I will try to pay your transport, which I didn't even expect that. And he was like, yeah, please think about it. I would not want you to feel like you know, you're being taken advantage of, because I would get much more out of this than you probably. I was like, I'll think about it if that makes you happy. But yeah, and I left the interview. And I was like, okay, well, that went pretty good, I think. I mean, you know, he did say overqualified, but he also said that he was happy to give me the position. I just had to think about it, but he was happy to give it to me. And you know, I was like, oh, he spent a lot of time talking about how impressed he is, which at one point I got so embarrassed I just started covering my face. Arigato. I literally hit the hand covering my face at one point because I could not take it anymore. Also, arigato. Thank you, Kazuma. I'm glad to hear your interview went well. Despite the handful of nerves, it sounded like you did well, which means it only gets easier from here on out for any further interviews. I hope so, but I don't think it's gonna change because I am an anxious creature. Yeah, but, I don't need to call him, I just need to shoot him a message, he said. And, And so I left the interview, and no 5 minutes later did I get a text message from my classmate who introduced me, who got me the interview, right? And my classmate was like, literally 5 minutes after I walked out that door, my classmate messaged me like, wow, you did a really good job at that interview. And I was like, really? What did you hear? And the classmate was like, yeah, the interviewer said that you were super, super qualified and professional. And I was like, really? So, I mean, you know, that's nice that it did so well that he immediately, like, shared it with the person who introduced me. Like, that he immediately, like, texted the person, was like, yeah, the person you brought in, good. Very good. So I was like, yes. Yes. So I think I did relatively well. And then right after the interview, I had... arigatou! And arigatou! Thank you, Aramito. Tippy for the anxious creature. Good job today, Airi. Viridevils are also proud of you. Thank you! I finally got a W! Yeah. Funny that they told your colleague who didn't do his assignment. Yeah, but I'm glad I didn't snitch on him because, you know, in the end, I got the internship for it, so it's fine. It's fine. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. I got the internship, that guy got to coast off of my classmates' work when it came to the assignment. Yeah, but then I had to go to my seminar right after, and I was like, oh, I'm so tired. But I went to the seminar, and because I hadn't read the literature on the seminar, because I completely forgot over all the things I was doing on the weekend, and all the homework I was doing on the weekend. No, arigatou! Thank you, Sam! That's our amazing W, Gauri! Thank you! Oh my gosh. Arigato ne. Thank you so much. Yeah. I finally got a dub. Also, arigato. Thank you, fun. Great job, buddy. Thank you. I tried hard. I tried hard. Yeah, and so I didn't read the literature for my seminar, so I was sitting on the train reading my literature. So and arigato, thank you, Newbie Magnet. Happy 20 months. 4 more, and then you get the super special Viridevil badge. 2 years. Oh my gosh. Aha! I've always enjoyed the streams, hearing her talk about the studying. Yup. Yup. That's such is my life. Such is my life. But yeah, so I was on the train reading the literature, and by reading the literature I mean reading the ChatGPT summary of the literature. And then I walk in the classroom, and there's 2 people already there, and I sit down. And then the time for the lecture, for the seminar rolls around, and the professor comes in, and it's the bell rings, and there's still only 3 people there. So I was like, oh no. Oh no. Yeah, so there's only 3 of us. And you know, some professors would be like, oh, well, there's not enough people here. I guess we're just gonna make a very, very short lecture and you guys can go home. Or like, oh, there's not enough people, so I guess you just get some plus points and you can go home right now. Nope, not him. He was like, oh, I guess there's not that many people here today, huh? Well, that gives us even more opportunity to go very in-depth about the literature with all of you. And I was like, yeah, that's, yup, just what I was hoping for today. Going super in-depth on the literature that I read. Yeah, that literature, yup. I love that, because we're so few people here, you can really go in depth on each student, asking them questions about the literature. Wonderful. Wunderbar. And I already read ChatGPT summary, yes. But obviously, I'm a smart gal. I have my moments sometimes. So, obviously, I copied the notes from ChatGPT to my notes app. And I copied the tables from the paper. And then, I made some like notes and highlighted with my tablet, so it looked like very self-made notes. Yeah, also, welcome. こんにちは。これは私の配信、アイリ配信です。Yeah. So at least I could go through all the ChatGPT notes without it looking obvious. Like, I was like, wow, I'm such a studious student. I have so many handwritten, very hand-typed notes. Oh, such detail, such many marker, yes. And arigato, thank you, Narsep. Congrats for the internship. Well done, Airi, you did amazing. We're really proud of you. Thank you, I feel so vindicated. I feel so vindicated. Yeah. I feel good. Yeah. Is Airi's ankle doing better? Yeah, it's doing better. It was not properly like sprained or anything, just a little bit rolled. The luck ran out. No, it didn't. Cause somehow he hadn't read the paper either. Or at least he read it worse than my ChatGPT summary provided me with. So actually, using quote-unquote my notes, I raised my hand for like all of the questions, and I said like stuff and values and things about the paper, and he had to go pull up the paper and check it, and it was all true what I said, and I was like, yes. So to him it must have seemed like I read the paper better than him. I even managed to ask some good and thought-provoking questions and criticize methods used in the paper very appropriately. So, well, he didn't have anything to criticize about me today. There was no, oh, no, your answer is wrong. Actually, it's, and then he repeats my answer. No, he just nodded for all of my answers. So, I did it. I won. Yeah. Sasuga ChatGPT. Yeah, and it was good. Yeah. Also probably because no guys there. No, the other two students were male, but I raised my hand more often than both of them combined. I am stronger. Yeah. You can say your answer was wrong because he didn't know the answer. Amazing. Yep. I read the paper better than he did, and I didn't even read that paper. Yeah, but long story short, we did spend the whole 1.5 hours discussing the paper. I was really hoping he'd let us go home early, but that was obviously a stupid thing to think. Yeah. Yeah, and then, on my way home, I stopped to take pictures for my driver's license, and I came home in the train. And the train was okay today. There was no weird people, no drunk people. It was fine. It was a train. Some people got caught not having a ticket, but they were surprisingly calm about it. And I had her ticket. Because I could physically not ride without a ticket without dying of anxiety. I'd be like, When are they coming to control? Oh no, oh no, oh no. So I always have a ticket. And then I went home. And then I did some work. And then I had to write on a paper that's due on Friday. And only then did I finally have some time to take off my makeup and the clothes that I'd put on for the interview at 8 a.m. For reference, I put everything on 8 a.m. That's when I got ready. And I took everything off and changed into my pajamas at 11 p.m. That's why I was slightly late, because I was like, I cannot do the stream while in full makeup and with my business ID clothes. I cannot do that. So I was like, oh yeah, well, maybe it was my business outfit that intimidated the professor so much that he couldn't disagree with me. Maybe it was like, she means business. Yeah, but I was like, I cannot do this right like this. So I moved stream back a little bit and I finally got my pajamas on and took a shower. And now I'm here. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so horribly tired. And I have to get up so soon. I cannot, but I also can't skip this lecture because I already skipped it too many times. I can't do it. Oh no. Yeah. But I'm definitely ending the stream directly at midnight. Not a minute earlier, not a minute later. But I really did want to come here today because it's been too long. We've been apart for 1 day, which is 1 day too long. Yeah, and I didn't want to cancel stream. I'd feel so bad. I wouldn't be able to sleep well. And here I am. I'm so tired. Hi. I do believe in the ChatGPT gods. They shall grant you strength. Yeah, and I hate the... It's 5 minutes before midnight in Germany. I hate the class that I have tomorrow for 2 reasons. First reason is that it's at 8:30 a.m. and to get there in time, I have to get up at 7. And the second reason is that everything discussed in that class is 1 for 1 on the lecture slides. Literally 1 for 1 on the lecture slides. The teacher does nothing except for read out the lecture slides and then go, anyone got any questions? No, and then continues. And I'm like, but attendance is mandatory. So I can't skip. It's so bad. It's so bad. Every time I sit in that lecture, I'll be like, I could have gone through this material myself in 10 minutes and then could have gone back to bed. But now I'm here for 1.5 hours and my way back and forth is another 1.5 hours, so 3 hours in total. Oh, how much % do they give for attendance? They don't give any % for attendance. But you fail if you don't attend. You don't get a better grade. You just don't get a grade if you don't attend. You just don't pass the class. So needless to say, I am not thrilled. I am not thrilled. Absurd, I know. That's bull, I know. How's that allowed? I know, yikes, I know. I know, it's unfair. Absolutely senseless. They know that no one would show up to that stupid lecture if the attendance wasn't mandatory. Yeah, so that's what I got going on tomorrow. So I'll try to at least get my 7 hours of sleep in. If I can. Demo arigato. Thank you for listening to my Is the Class Monetary? Yes, unfortunately. But thank you for listening to my interview story. Ari's gonna pass out. Hi. If it was a large lecture, I would put down ID in the sign-up sheet. The problem is it's not large. It's like 10 people, so the professor would notice if I wasn't there. Especially because I'm stupid and I sat down in the first row too, so now that's where my seat is. Yeah. So it's pretty easy to tell whether ID is there or not. I'll see you guys. Arishiteru, please come to my ASMR Together stream tomorrow. We'll be recording some fun stuff, and ideally I'll have caught up on sleep by then. And so we can stream for longer. Arishiteru, thank you for coming to my stream even though it was short and Ari was tired. Nemo! Arishiteru. Blah 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 blah. You better appreciate that I came here today even though I was so tired. Even though I was so tired, I came to see you. No matter rain, wind, or storm, ID comes to see you. Yo, you better write me an ID appreciation card about it. ID study, blah blah blah. Till tomorrow. I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna sleep.